everyone. I'm not. Good evening, anyone. I don't know if anyone can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Thanks. So this is Nasima. I am Business Development Executive for SEMA, and I will be actually introducing our speaker today, Ms. Andrew the Alois. So as you can see, she was actually just trying to make sure that the screens are visible, all of us. So first of all, I just want to thank you all to join us this evening on this Webex session. And well, I am not sure if Andrew can just let me know if she can speak, because I'm not sure if she's online.
For sure.
Okay.
Sima?
Yeah. Start to introduce Andrew. So basically, Andrew is one of our most active SEMA member in the region, where she has over 15 years experience working in
Hello?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the line got cut for me.
Mm-hmm. Gonna do, Nasima, I'll just take over from you. I would ask everybody to put your on mute, please. Appreciate that, because otherwise we will be getting a lot of feedback noise and background noise as well. Can do that for me. That'd be fantastic. We will also have some interactive sessions, because I will get you guys to poll and vote as well, so to make sure this is kind of quite interactive. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about effective business partnering. It's really very close to my heart, because I have a role of a finance business partner as well as an IT business partner in many organizations as well as in many different countries. So I've got varied experiences in all these different countries and the businesses that I've worked in. So a little bit about me. As Nasima mentioned, I'm I'm also a CPA Australia. I've completed my MBA with University of Manchester, and I've also dabbled in marketing, as you can see. I've completed my Chartered Institute of Marketing as well. And I've worked in different industries as well as in different regions, geographic locations. I mentioned before, if you guys can put your mics on mute, really appreciate that. Okay, so today's event, what are we going to be learning about? How do we transition to a business partner? That's a big question for us, because this business partner word has been buzzing around for some time, but really people don't quite clearly know what this business partnering activity is all about, right? And Australia, Canada, UK, US, and UAE, I've got views from different people, very senior people in the industry, what they look for in a business partner. Also, I'm recommending and suggesting some tools to enhance this role. Okay, hope everybody can hear and all of us are together right now. Go to some research. And what research say about business partnering? The figure, which is analytical capabilities 49%, so on and so forth. This is from actually Deloitte. The Deloitte research stated what we require from a best partner. And it's quite interesting to look at our SEMA competency framework as well, right? And look at how SEMA requires us to have these competencies, and it is very much in line with what the research has got to say. Okay, so again, you look at it, analytics and technical skills are 49%, but of it, they are looking a lot heavily into the other areas, right? How much strategic thinking that you need to apply, relationship management, huge component in our business partnering. Right. Let us go into next slide, which we do not see in our SEMA syllabus, but very much required as a business partner. Right? I'm not sure whether you guys have read or heard about this book, Emotional Intelligence by Dan Goleman. Right? Emotional intelligence. It is to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, plus understand and influence the emotions of others. In mind, let us go back to the previous slide. We talked about negotiation and influence. 61. Relationship management. That's very much related to your emotional intelligence, right? And here we've got a little bit of research from Dr. Travis, another from emotional intelligence. And he says 50% is responsible for 58% of your job performance, right? 90% of our top performers have high EQ level. Really important, because if you look at our profession, we say, well, let us complete our exams, our technical components, and then move on. That means we're done with it. We know all our debits, credits, the technical components that needs to go in there, the IFRSs, everything like that. We are quite comfortable. We are masters at it. Now we are good to go. From recent times, SEMA quite intelligently played to what is required by the market, and they listened to what the market wants and quickly changed the syllabus plus the way they test the candidates. Interesting, going back to my first slide, and where they test all on not only our technical skills, but leadership skills, people's. Of course, ethics are embedded right across. Now, let's stop here for a second and let me just introduce every one of us. We'll do this by going through a poll, right? I'm just going to sharing my screen for a second and open up the poll for us. Would be able to see the poll. can answer the first question. This is just where each one of us are from.
But the screen just disappeared.
Can you see? Yes, the screen, I started sharing the screen, but then disappeared because I've opened the poll. Can you poll? Where you select?
The polls are not coming up on the screen.
Some people are able to see it.
Andrew actually is not visible on the phone application, but on
trying through my phone application. I couldn't able to see anything, only the ultimate action.
The phone.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could see it. If you're on a PC, be able to see it. Second, I'll just share the results. So you the results now. So I think most of you are from Dubai. We've got from Saudi, Oman, and Middle Eastern countries as well. Then we looked at what industries you guys work in: telecommunication, management consultancy, manufacturing, as well as other services. Okay. Let's do our presentation now. Right, now let's go back and I'll share my screen again with you. So and let's go into the next section. Of finance business partner. We change? That is the big question. Because finance function has been there for a very long time. So what are the things really that's getting us to change in our role? Who is disrupting us, right? Well, as a finance business partner, we need to move up the finance value chain. What does this mean? And very, very interesting because I've taken some information from research as well as when I interviewed very senior people in the industries. They never seen this research and they came up with their requirements quite similar to very similar to this. At times the same words as well. I will share this with you in the later part of our presentation. Emotional intelligence and business partnering. It is important. We may not use the word emotional intelligence in SEMA, but of course it is there. When we say management of people, leadership, that's key. Intelligence becomes really the foundation for this. And networking with your key stakeholders, I cannot emphasize how important this aspect is because fantastic idea can be squashed if you have proper networking and proper lobbying. And this is part of the soft skill that's not taught, and it is a soft skill that you need to develop. All right. So you can see this partnering role is quite a difficult one, because you cannot put your finger and say 2 plus 2 is going to be 4. The partnering will vary because human factors that needs to be taken into consideration apart from your financial technical abilities. That goes without saying, of course. This is a little humor on emotional intelligence. Again, techniques are very much so focused on their technical abilities, perfecting their technical abilities. They get the word they use, associating skills, and they get all this because they're fantastic. I've got 100 out of 100, so that's what is required, right? So Carton says it's not that really, right? What do we need to change? The biggest catalyst for a change is advancement. You remember, 30 years ago, Webex, and we are able to connect with each other in parts of the world because of advancement of technology, right? To link up with many people in a Webex session like this from different parts of the world, simply because of technology. We would not have been able to do this years ago, all right? And what are the other things that's changing? Our regulatory environments are changing because the whole environment across it is changing, it is evolving. So we need to change. So as a business partner, or if I call us the accountants, the professional accountants, we are not sit still and stay there and think, oh well, I've done, I've did, I've got all distinctions, I've topped the that. No, it's not really. Even if you're fantastic in your exams, you need to know the soft skills. And again, I have to emphasize, CIMA is testing these skills in the exams now to make you ready for this changing world. It's really, really important. Information is required by stakeholders. Nowadays stakeholders are very, very sophisticated stakeholders. And the reason for this would be because of technology advancements, right? One of the Western stakeholders would have requested some time ago, demanding these reports, the reasonings. Even in certain other countries, the stakeholders will be demanding from as a partner, the French business partner, is going to be very, very busy and should understand and proactively think of, okay, what are the type of information that they will be requiring? What the risks that the company would face? Are we prepared for this? Our managers, the senior managers, the board, shareholders. This is again part of the research. Very interesting, where it says 83% of organizations want to increase the time spent on finance business partnering over the next 3 years. the time spent on finance, business, and partnering today as a percentage of total finance capacity, the most is 20%. And that is over by 10 to 20%, 10-20% of the participants who took this poll. See how far behind we are business partnering. And that is as an accounting, not as SEMA, but as total accountants, how far behind we are. But when we go to look at what the market wants, there was much, much more finance person. Now, we're doing roles advertised in the UK. Just give you a flavor of what I'm looking for. These are not all, these are very current roles that I have picked up. If I look at key accountabilities, it's very interesting to review and partner in the production of cases, in the appraisal, contract review processes, financials are behind. The drive improvement in reporting, to build relationships and provide business partnering to IT directors. This type of accountabilities were there to go to build relationship. What accountants build relationship? That's out of right. Now the rules in the UK, they specifically state so you need to be a relationship builder. And so this is in the UK. Now let's go to Australia and what type of looking for work for and collaborating with project teams, bid finance and clients. So you're not just in the finance function. You need to collaborate across the board. Right? So you have to be a qualified accountant. That's given, right? And they all are to work with external clients and a role in key commercial negotiations. Then here, for a person who negotiates, who work with different teams, right? A business person, not just finance. Okay. Now, one is from Unilever. Right? Skill experiences. Experience or demonstrated skills. Certain factory. MC experience preferred. Asking you about your qualifications. And the last point is quite interesting, strong business acumen, communication skills. The Unilever, and look at another one by Coles. I found this really interesting. Finance business vacancy within our marketing division. And the responsibilities in there, understanding the business context and identifying opportunities for improvement. Decision making. Last point there, because certain points I am skipping deliberately because that is given. That's not in your role. Be a business coach to improve commercial acumen of them. So you are performing that leadership role as a coach to other business areas. And let's go continue in the same role. Why finance business partners love about their job? What they love? Like the finance director of their own business, right? A very dynamic person. That's what they're looking for. A person who will take accountability, right? Work commercially astute stakeholders, process change and creating value for the business. So really, you need to demonstrate that you have ability to create value. So when you are creating for a role, or even if you're for to basically for a person, you need to say, well, what value have you added in your current role? It is given that you need to close the books on time, you need to have your controls in place, etc., etc. Those finance things are given. You have to do that. But apart from that, what have you added? That important point, and that we miss. How many teams have you coached? Look at, reflect on your role and see, have you really coached anybody? Have you really coached any teams? Help them the value of finance, and also, if they're going in for some projects, have you spoken to them about what return on investment? Is this project going to give you return? And how will you calculate that? I find this one quite interesting, the last point. When challenging, some of our stakeholders are expert negotiators, so learning to challenge them appropriately. Important. I find this quite amusing, okay, because you will find very, very strong stakeholders. You need to take your stand. You need to be strong. You be very clear if you're opposing, when you're challenging, when you are debating with them. You need to be very clear on what you need not lose your cool. You need not, raise your voice. That's necessary at all. If you do that, you lose the plot completely. Then you go into emotions. Right? So again, your emotional intelligence need to play a part here. If you are trying to disagree with a very strong stakeholder, how will you do it? If he or she is a very senior stakeholder, will be talking in front of everybody saying, well, actually, what you stated just there is not right. This is what I say, this is what I think is right. Okay, so even if the answer is the correct one, the person will never agree with you. But if you've gone quietly, spoken to this person, and quietly one-on-one, and had a discussion, and negotiated with this person, well, things would be different. They will discuss, and they will come to an understanding. And in fact, they will buy into this idea. And in fact, what they will state at the meeting, that it's one of the ideas. And well, then too, that is an achievement where you have converted somebody. But that is using your emotional intelligence. This we will be, even in CIMA case studies, with the students on your emotional intelligence. Like I said, they will not use those exact words, but they'll test you on ethical cases. This is where you need to have very difficult conversations with stakeholders and very senior stakeholders. This is an interesting model, something that all SEMA students, non-SEMA students, everybody working in the working life should know this model and how to apply. So we really need to understand who our key stakeholders are, because their interests, cares, you need to engage them closely, because otherwise they can really put a stop to a lot of things that you do, whether they're good or bad, irrelevant. It's very important that you understand these stakeholders, understand their requirements, understand how they go about things. Okay. Now, with more humor on emotional intelligence, and let's. So, hi, Angels. Mary, I don't think so. Changes for sure, and things I'm gonna make changes. Okay. The next is, Mary, you make changes. I know, but it is right. And you say it right. Where you put across that to your boss or person that you're working with. I'll stop for a second and go in for a little bit of polling again, right, to make sure there's some interactions going on. So 1 sec, please. I'll stop sharing now. So guys on mobile phones, apologies, you'll not be able to poll, but the others will be able to do that. The poll is open now. I guess you can say. Can you what's important? There's no wrong. Interesting to note. I think everyone's answered. So, okay, go on. Right, go on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the poll now and reveal the results. We got 9 out. Most amount of people have stated tries. That's one. And I would agree with you, because first we need to trust the other person, isn't it? Before we start working, before we start doing anything, I need to be able to trust my business partner, the person who is not. And remember, as a business partner, you're not in the team. You have to get into that team. Therefore, you gain the trust. So really, that's quite interesting. Now, let me save that and go to a 1 second. And so insert this one. Let us get answers coming through. Of each one's experiences as well. So it's good. Anyone else? Right. Okay. Press the poll and reveal the results. This is very interesting what you have stated, because it's saying increase information. Right. So and use information over technology advancement. Technology advancement, because why would increase? How would be able to increase information without advancement in technology? So interesting how you guys thought, but well, let's go to our presentation. Once we are going into our slides now. And screen again. Let's stop that. So for some reason or the other, I quite a few people in my network who are in very senior positions in different parts of the world, what they thought of these partners and what they're looking for. Is the head of digital and innovation in Bank of Queensland in Australia. And she said, know your business and environment it operates, right? Tech finance supporting my business and how it supports impacts positive and negative way. The third is quite interesting. Challenge and seek and look for opportunities to improve finance or technical. That means if you're a finance or IT person, right? And how it would benefit on the business. Listen and be collaborative for results. Keep up with external trends, our goals and KPIs to that of business KPIs. So you can see in Kai's comments, and when she's looking for a business partner, she is looking for somebody who will work with her, who will stand by her, and with her in a very manner and in a manner that will add value. Right. He's also a manager, fellow SIMA, and he's here. there's a business partner has to be like a consultant, right? Consultants are always looking to value, and they're looking at, because consultants are paid very high fees. So for you to become a consultant, and the consultants need to show value to the customers, right? So you have to work like that. Be proactive. Again, he's talking about being proactive, something similar to that. Also, look for solutions to problems. Generally behave as if you were a high management consultant from the outside, right? So that's the kind of attitude you should have. One is she's recruitment, very senior recruitment manager in Australia, right? And she says, for a variety business partner, she's looking at people who innovate, up to date on commercial activities and trends. So our professional activity, you have to continue that. Trusted advisor, right? On board professionally and personally. And characteristics are you have be approachable, accessible, right? Intuitive listener. This listener part is coming over and over again. And Rebecca, again, she's a very senior person. Is in Australia, in the SEMA activities in Australia, right? And also stating, I expect a partner to come forward with ideas and insights into how they can add value. This is kind of the theme, how people can add value. Be proactive, not wait to be asked, right? Relationship is fully established, that is a trusted partner, it would become a lot easier and familiar. Be confident in your skills, knowledge about the organization, and seek to support ongoing innovation. He's in Canada, head of planning and planning in Shell. Again, a fellow SEMA. Business or customer needs into finance requirements. You have to state it in a finance terms. What is benefit, right? How be part of the solution rather than just raise questions or put roadblocks. It's interesting that a very senior person should state that. Obviously, he sees these kind of characteristics in some of the finance people. That's why he's stating these things. Work with the business rather than outside the business. So be the team. You're a trusted advisor. Be part of the team, right? I have a head of business development. He's from the UAE, right? A lot about analytics and how you need to understand big data. As we go through in SEMA, this is a huge component. IT is a big component that you will learn, and it is very much there. The education of contribution is to get more involved in the business, right? And could trusted advisor, that's not an accountant, but saying I need a trusted advisor, a facilitator, right? Of product business discussion. Very interesting insight from senior management from different parts of the world, but saying the same thing. Ed is from US. He's the VP Shared Services. He's worked for very large companies, telecommunication companies. The top points relate to, again, the systems, finance systems, controls, right? One of the points at the latter part, he's talking about to enter joint planning and virtual partnership, big finance functions and IT in executing the defined portfolio of improvement initiatives. So you can see you need to partner with third certain teams. IT is an enabler. So finance, IT can get together and provide that enablement to the business, right? Establish joint planning between other business units and functions. Quite interesting. Now, humor on our intelligence. I'll leave a second to read this before we move on. Okay, on to next slide. Just business partnering. 50 believe that systems are a barrier to business partnering. You need good information. You need accurate information. You need the information on time. The data needs to be arranged in such a way that it can be of use, right? So you are the image architects of your business. So whenever there is an IT project, don't run away, because you are the person who is going to be using it. You're going to be the custodian of it, right? 40% of organizations believe lack of buy-in from business is a barrier to finance business part. That means the business not think you need this finance business partnering activity. So you need to lobby. You need to tell why you need this, right? You can just not by having presentations and saying how good you are, but action activity and showing gradually this is what I can be doing, right? To add to you. 50% of organizations believe that they do not have the right capabilities in finance to successfully finance to business partnering. That is very, very interesting fact, because that means they're talking about a skill factor, right? And 10% respondents stated they were unclear the value that partnering provided. Again, they're not means. Okay, part is a big issue. Sales capabilities that we're talking about, right? We know external structured frameworks that we learn, right? That's called analysis, PEST, SWOT, SAS model. These are things, the tools that we can use. But there are very important aspects, soft skills, the emotional intelligence part, presentation skills, nego skills, facilitating, risk management, right? And sometimes relationship management means you may have to mediate between two different fun areas. They may hate each other. Right? You might have to be the mediator. New skills, of course, like I said, networking is extremely important. Engagement skills. Now, it's interesting because if you're entertaining, nobody wants to kind of network with you, isn't it? Right? If you're not a person who, if you be able to tell a joke, you need to be able to, relax, make the other person relax, make the other person talk to you, right? So this is a soft skill that you need to develop, right? Something it's just not only the numbers. And this is what people do not talk about, but dress for success is extremely important. Always dress for position, the next couple of positions that you're aiming for, not the current position. All right? So, if you don't dress properly, it kind of, people will not tell you directly, but they will not take into that team. Right? So you need to dress well. That's what I'm saying. It's really important. We've come to the end of our presentation, and I have a couple of polls. Right. So let me go back to my polling. And second, please. Just out. Find out from you guys, because based on these answers, we might be getting some recruiters to come in and have a Webex session with you guys, right? And you can ask questions.
Hi, Anju. For those of us who are using mobile phones, do you think you can share with us what the poll is about?
Sure. This is about, do you have any plans of migrating? Where would you want to migrate to? Australia, Canada, UK, US, right? Because majority have said Australia, great place to be. I'm from Australia, great people, you'll enjoy it. Again, all the other countries are also good fun, but to me, so of course I'm biased. Right, so
Thank you.
I'll close the poll and just show. So you poll results. So 1 second. The next question is really important, because I think I'm gonna please. No. And your question is very important. So the cricket, I want to know who do you think is going to win? Right. And the question will win the T20. India, Pakistan, Australia, Sri Lanka. In the lead? No, India in the lead. Anyone else? Good. With that, I'm going to close for today, but I'm going to hand over to Gitu or Nasima. But before that, I want to let you guys know we're having a meetup session on the 25th on Friday. So the people who are in Dubai, we'll catch up for a coffee at a place called Cafe Rider. So I can send you guys the location map as well. It's, again, starting with networking. What accountants are extremely bad at is networking. There's a lot of opportunities out there, but since we don't network that great, we miss out on those. Okay, so what I would like to do is hand over this session to Gitu. Gitu there.
Yes, I am.
You're just breaking up.
Can you hear me? You able?
Hello.
Andrew, it's Nasima. I think she's
Yes,
facing
yes.
some
All right.
some
Okay.
issues.
So you want to close?
We would like to thank you on behalf of Gitu and I believe all our senior student and member. Thank you for the value that you shared with us and all the learning you have shared with us this evening. I hope that all of us have enjoyed the session, and that would be great if you can share with us through email your impression and your feedback regarding the session. So you have actually my email address or my colleague Lynn Reynolds. So if you can share just a little on the session, that would be great. So we can share it also with Andrew, and we can work on more session in the future. So thanks again, Andrew. And wish you all a nice evening, and hopefully we catch up soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. Good to go.
Fun. Well, thank you. I just didn't want to miss out the opportunity on telling you this was an absolute value learning, funny for myself as well, especially in times of today, wherein the volatile situations businesses are going in. It's extremely important to be able to show your performance in terms of not just technically, but also you as a person, what are the brains behind the business is capable of doing. So I think, Anju, where you spoke about emotional intelligence, or whether you spoke about relationship building, and most importantly, networking, I think it's even more critical in times of today. So I would really, appreciate our students and members to take that extra effort in being able to understand the importance of this. Of course, Anju did a great job in sharing her experience and insights onto it. We'll also be sharing this as a recorded version so that in case you'd like to drill down a little more into what was said, you'd be able to. On the other hand, I think I would also like to take this opportunity to seek feedback from all those who have attended this session today on how valuable you thought was it to do a webinar, that means an online learning session. We're looking at introducing some online tuition classes that we are able to strike that good balance between work and life, and we're able to make sure that our progression in terms of professional development is also being managed well. With that, I understand we are good for our own personal dinner commitments. I'd like to thank all of you once again on behalf of SEMA, and we hope to see you and connect with you soon. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Thanks, Anju, once again.
Good night, everyone.